Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into Key Time Sports. It's Key Time coming back to talk about week 12 of the 2024 NFL season, which kicks off tonight. The first game I want to cover is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. Now, these two teams are polar opposites, they are going in opposite directions. Pittsburgh, they have a decent offense and they have a spectacular defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense, I'm gonna give y'all a few stat lines. Pittsburgh Steelers defense, top 5 in total defense, top 5 in total yards allowed. So, and then you have Cleveland, which is one of the worst offenses in the NFL. To be exact, the Cleveland Browns are 29th in total points scored, 29th in total yards gained, 29th in total yards per quarter, 29th in third down efficiency. So statistically, this is the 29th ranked offense, and when it comes to the Cleveland Browns defense, it's not that much better. They are 19th in total defense, giving up over 27 points per game. So this game is going to be a defensive game, but I have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game. As of right now, currently, the Pittsburgh Steelers are a 3.5-point favorite. I think that they cover that point spread and win by 10 points or more. Now, I'm not going to say that this is a blowout because division games are always close because your division rival know your strengths and weaknesses better than anybody else on your schedule. So I have the Pittsburgh Steelers led by Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is having a good season ever since he took reins from Justin Fields in week 8. He's had a good 4-game stretch. Now we turn it over to Cleveland. We know that Deshaun Watson is injured, out for the rest of the season. It's been a revolving door at quarterback ever since he went down in week 5. Now it's Jameis Winston, and then at times it is Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So it's been a 2-quarterback system in Cleveland. This game, Pittsburgh, no matter what, no matter how ugly the score is, Pittsburgh is going to come out on top. The next game I want to cover is the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. Now, Chicago Bears are 4-6. Everybody knows how I feel about Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus, I already have him on my chopping block. If some of you have not been watching me lately, I have already made a head coaching chopping block in the NFL. Matt Eberflus is on it, Doug Peterson is on it, and a couple of NFL GMs are on it as well. So, when we get back to the Chicago Bears, we all know that they have an underachieving offense. There was a 4-game stretch where they had 23 possessions but didn't score any touchdowns. It was just field goal after field goal, and then sometimes they wouldn't even get in field goal range and they would have to punt the ball. Now the Chicago Bears have a new offensive coordinator, but is it too late in the season to switch offensive coordinators? Maybe so. We see the same thing that's going on in Chicago. We saw that same thing early in the season going on with the New York Jets. And now you see where the New York Jets are at. So when it comes to this game, Minnesota, I still think they are an average team. They are up there with Detroit, Philadelphia. But when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings, historically, I'm going to say this. Historically, the Minnesota Vikings, they've gone to 4 Super Bowls, and they've been in 8 NFC Championship games. but they haven't won a championship yet out of their entire history. When it comes to the Minnesota Vikings, you go back to the 1950s. Well, excuse me, not the 1950s, but the 1970s, where Bud Grant was the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. For 4 straight years, the Minnesota Vikings made it to the Super Bowl, but couldn't win the Super Bowl. And their recent NFC Championship game appearance was in 2017. Before that, it was 2009. And when we saw both of those games, they were playing against the Saints, and then they were playing against the Philadelphia Eagles, and they failed to rise to the occasion in those championship games. So I have a lot of trepidation when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings playing in playoff football and trying to win a championship, because they've never done it in their franchise history. But when it comes to this game, I have the Minnesota Vikings winning this game. As far as the playoffs, I am going to show y'all a little bit later on when we get to late December and early January. I am going to show y'all the final playoff picture. But as of right now, teams fluctuate from spot to spot, week after week. Minnesota, they are favored by 3.5 in this game. I have Minnesota winning this game. The Chicago Bears, I had them as my dark horse team making it to the playoffs. But now I have come to grips with one of my predictions are not going to fall through this year. That's all, because Chicago, they are an old-fashioned organization. They need a new coach at the helm. They need somebody. They need somebody, an energetic coach. That's what they need, because Matt Eberflus, he does not show any type of enthusiasm. Also, the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, he doesn't show any enthusiasm. And that is one thing that a head coach, no matter what sport, that's what owners are looking for now. They are looking for a energetic head coach with enthusiasm. And none of the coaches that I just said have it. So, the next game I want to cover is the Detroit Lions and Indianapolis Colts. Now, I'm not going to pay too much attention to this game, because Detroit, like I said, they have had this motto. Even the head coach has said this motto. And I'm going to say it again. They have a belt to ass motto, meaning that in the first 10, 15 minutes of the game, if you are going to stay pace with them. Every opponent has stayed pace with the Detroit Lions. But when it comes to that second quarter and mainly the second half, Detroit Lions, they have overwhelming momentum, and their opponent has no chance of coming back. And that's what I see in this game. I have Detroit Lions winning this game by at least, I'm going to be generous to Colts fans out there, because y'all still have an outside chance at making the playoffs. I'm not going to say that y'all are a bottom of the barrel team just yet, because y'all are 5-6. But I'm going to say that the Detroit Lions win by 2 touchdowns. Just keeping it generous for the Indiana Colts fans out there. The next game I want to cover is the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. Now, I had the Miami Dolphins winning this game outright, because New England, what they need to do, they are another team on my bracket when it comes to getting ready and getting prepared for the 2025 NFL draft. So I don't see New England winning another game this season. So what they need to do is go ahead, get ready for the NFL draft. Miami, you have to win out. Miami, I have y'all winning this game outright. But like I said, this game is going to be close since it's a division rival. Miami, I expect Tua Tagovailoa to have a good game. Tyreek Hill to have at least a touchdown reception or more. Jalen Waddle, I expect him to have a good game. I expect Devontae Achane to have a good game in this game versus the New England Patriots. The next game I want to cover is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and New York Giants. Another team I think that will not win another game this season is the New York Giants, because we all know that earlier this week on Tuesday, they said that they were going to put Tommy DeVito in the fold. Now, Tommy DeVito has some experience. Last season, he played 5 games and won 4 of them. So he has experience. But do anybody see long-term success with Tommy DeVito at the helm? Only thing I see is short-term success and him being a career backup like he has been. So when it comes to this game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think for them to stay afloat in the NFC South and possibly overtake the Atlanta Falcons, I think that there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Buccaneers need to win this game, or else their season might just be over. Their season is already hanging by a thread already. So I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning this game. I'm going to say by 10 points. By 10 points, because currently right now they are a 6-point favorite, and I think that they are going to cover that spread against the New York Giants, because the New York Giants, they are a team that is just going to pack it in and get ready for the NFL draft. The next game I want to cover is the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders. Now, I said 2 months ago that my Dallas Cowboys are going to take a back seat. I expect the Dallas Cowboys to make this a game in the first quarter, but by the time we get to the fourth quarter, I expect this game to be a blowout. I am a Dallas Cowboy diehard fan, but like I've been saying, Dallas Cowboy fans, we all just need to take a back seat to this season. In the NFC East, it's a 2-team race. It's Washington and it's Philadelphia. Washington, I have them winning this game. They are favored by 10 points. I think that this game, it'll be close early, and then by the end of the third quarter, early fourth, the bottom will be fell out the barrel when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. So I have the Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels having another sensational game in this game versus the Cowboys. The next game I want to talk about is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Carolina Panthers. Kansas City Chiefs, they are going to win this game outright. Do not play with house money here, because Kansas City, they are favored by 10.5. As long as the Kansas City Chiefs do not turn the ball over and play down to their competition with the Carolina Panthers, they will win this game in a blowout. I like what I'm seeing from Bryce Young. Maybe the Panthers can build around Bryce Young now. The Carolina Panthers in the draft, they are another team that need to get ready for the draft, because they need a new offensive line. They need new running backs, new wide receivers, new tight ends. They just need a complete overhaul change of their whole team, because the last couple of years haven't worked out at all. So I have the Kansas City Chiefs winning this game by 2 touchdowns, if not more. The next game I want to cover is the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. Houston Texans, this game, It's going to be close because they are division rivals. But I expect Houston to have control of this game. I expect Houston to have the lead throughout this game because we all know that the Tennessee Titans, they have been led by a turnover machine in Will Levis. Now, Will Levis, this coming offseason, he needs to get with a quarterback coach in the NFL, and they need to emphasize to him about protecting the ball, not throwing it into too many tight windows, knowing what down and distance you are in, having field awareness, being able to read defensive sets and defensive lineups, and being able to counteract a potential problem on the field. See, this is what we all have to look at as NFL journalists and NFL fans. Now, I know that the average NFL fan does not see what us journalists see from a journalistic lens. Now, when it comes to the Houston Texans, they have underperformed on the offensive line. Nico Collins, he is back after an early season injury. Can the Houston Texans make the playoffs? Yes, they are going to make the playoffs because nobody remotely in their division can contend with them now. Because the Tennessee Titans, they are 2-9. Jacksonville Jaguars are 2-9. The Indianapolis Colts are 5-6. And their season is hanging by a thread. Houston, if they win, I'm going to say if they win 3 more games, they can have the division wrapped up by Christmas. Wrapped up by Christmas Day. And I expect the Houston Texans to have this division wrapped up by Christmas Day. So I have the Houston Texans winning this game by 10 points. Because it's a division matchup, and we all know that division matchups are going to be close. The next game I want to cover is the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, Denver, I got to give credit where credit is due and earned. Sean Payton, he has worked wonders throughout the Denver Broncos organization. I believe that I'm hearing speculation that the defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, Vance Joseph, he is on a lot of teams' head coaching hires list. So the Denver Broncos, they are a team that is on the verge of making the playoffs. Currently, they are the 7th seed right now. Currently. But against a team like the Las Vegas Raiders, another team, like I said in my last show, that needs to get prepared for the NFL draft in April. One thing that the Denver Broncos need to do, they don't need to play around with this game. Now, even though they are division rivals and the Raiders, nobody as the Raiders fans, they don't like the Denver Broncos. So, but Denver, they have bigger stuff on the horizon. They can make the playoffs this year. I wasn't so confident in the Denver Broncos making the playoffs at the start of the season, but now I see where they are making strides, and plus that defense is top 10. They have a top 10 defense. They are going to make the playoffs, and they are going to win this week. And the Las Vegas Raiders, just go ahead and pack it in this season because your season has been over for weeks now. The next game I want to cover is the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. This is one of those games where it can go either way. The 49ers, they have injuries galore across the board. Green Bay, most of their players are coming back at the right time for that late season playoff run. I think that the Green Bay Packers will win this game, but it is going to be close. I see the Green Bay Packers winning this game with a field goal in the final seconds. That's what I see. Jordan Love is gonna have a great game. Nico Dobbins, he is gonna have a good game. Christian Watkins, Christian Watson, is going to have a good game against the 49ers defense, because the 49ers are starting to give up big play after big play, week after week, and San Francisco is on the outside looking in of the playoffs. And that is weird to say, because for the last 4 or 5 years, San Francisco has always been in the thick of things. Before the start of the season, I said that San Francisco is going to be in the thick of things come December and January. If they lose 3-4 more games, that's it. Their season is over with. And the Arizona Cardinals, they will be the winners of the NFC West. Leading to my next team I'm going to talk about. The next game I'm going to cover is the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Seattle, I don't know what we can say that when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks, we don't know what type of Geno Smith we are going to see week from week. We don't know what type of Seattle defense we are going to see week to week. But we know what we are going to get from Kenneth Walker, the running back for the Seattle Seahawks. Arizona, if they win this week, they have a 2-game lead. They have a 2-game lead on everybody. Everybody with 6 games left to play. Do I think Arizona can go into Seattle and win? Yes, I do, because Seattle does not have the same type of home field that it once did. I mean, just a few years ago, a lot of teams, it was almost like if anybody goes to Seattle, that was a guaranteed loss. Now, Seattle, they have a new head coaching regime, a new defense, a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator, and basically the Seattle Seahawks coaching staff is basically getting much younger right now. So I have the Arizona Cardinals winning this game, and I expect Arizona Cardinals defense to have a big day, and I expect Geno Smith to have throw at least one to two interceptions in this game. The next game I want to cover is Sunday Night Football between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Rams. Now, both of these teams are one team, the Philadelphia Eagles, are headed to the playoffs no matter what. The Los Angeles Rams are on the outside looking in. The Los Angeles Rams, I can see them losing this game, but have to win out. Because if they do not win out, their season is over. So they can have a slip up this week, but for the rest of the season, they are going to have to win out. Now, who do I see winning this game? As long as the Philadelphia Eagles play the way that we know that they are capable of playing, the Philadelphia Eagles will win this game. But if Nick Sirianni start calling crazy plays, trick plays, when the Philadelphia Eagles have the lead, then the Los Angeles Rams will win this game. But as of right now, currently, the Philadelphia Eagles are a 2.5 point favorite, and I think that the Philadelphia Eagles will win this game by a touchdown. The next game I want to cover is Monday Night Football. The Baltimore Ravens and the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I was watching this game last season. Last season, it was a very entertaining game for about the first quarter and a half. But the Los Angeles Chargers were led by Brandon Staley. Subtract Brandon Staley from the equation this year, put in Jim Harbaugh. Now the Los Angeles Chargers have a chance at making the playoffs. Currently, right now, they are in the 4th seed. Baltimore is in the 5th spot in the AFC playoff picture. This game basically has playoff implications. Whoever loses this game is the one team that will not have home field advantage throughout, not throughout, but in the wild card round of the playoffs. So who do I have winning this game? As of right now, the Baltimore Ravens are 3-point favorites. But one thing I see this being a defensive battle because the Los Angeles Chargers have one of the top defenses in the NFL. The Baltimore Ravens have one of the top defenses in the NFL. But when it comes to offensive statistics, the Baltimore Ravens should win this game outright. What the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens need to do is give Derrick Henry the ball 15 to 20 times, no more than 25 times in this game, and let Derrick Henry run through the Los Angeles Chargers defense. Because even though the Los Angeles Chargers defense is playing up to par, at times they have trouble getting teams off the field on 3rd down. And that is why I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens in this game. Now, make no mistake about it. This game is going to be close throughout. I would not be surprised if the Baltimore Ravens win on a walk-off field goal in this game. Now, we have 6 teams on a bye week this week. The Atlanta Falcons, Buffalo Bills, Cincinnati Bengals, New Orleans Saints, New York Jets, and Jacksonville Jaguars for Week 12 of the 2024 NFL season. And with that, those are my predictions and outlook for Week 12 of the NFL season in 2024. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. Also, follow Key City Sports on TikTok. And remember one last thing, the key is always on time.